Within this lesson, we'll use the area model and division to show the equivalence of two fractions. Here we're asked to draw an area model to show how this number sentence is true. We started with 6/10, and then we simplified to 3/5. Let's draw a possible area model. One, two, three, 4 lines for 5 parts. And then since we want tenths, let's go ahead and draw a line right down the middle. And let's start shading it in for 6/10. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 tenths. And then so we'll shade in for 6/10. There's 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, and 6/10. Here it says we're dividing the numerator. We're looking for groups of 2. So we can circle 2 of those units. So you got 1, 2, and 3. That's why 6 divided by 2 does give us 3. And then we'll also circle those that are not shaded as well. So we have 4 and 5. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's our denominator. And we have 1, 2, and 3 for our numerator. So 6/10 does equal 3/5. Let's draw an area model for this. We have 8/12 equaling 2/3. So let's start by drawing 8/12. Let's see. Let's go 1, 2, and 3 lines so that we have 4 parts because we know that 8 is divisible by 4. And then to get it to 12ths, then we have to draw 1 and 2 there. So we have 12ths. And we want 8 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now it says we're going to group by 4 of them. So here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. Here we have 1, 2, 3, and 4. And here we also have 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there are 3 of those groups of 4. That's why 12 divided by 4 is 3. And we have 2 of them that are shaded. And then there are 3 of them, 3 total groups of 4. And that's why it is that we have that fraction 2/3. So 8/12 does equal 2/3. And I have the area model to show it. Alright, here we're asked to show this here, and it is your turn. Draw an area model to show this. Pause the video while you do your work. What'd you start with? Ideally, you started with 9/12. How did you draw 9/12? Well, let's look at the denominator, 12, and I know 12 is divisible by 4, so I'll go ahead and divide this first into 4 parts. And then, so if I have 4 times what is 12? Right, 3. So I'll draw 2 lines to divide that into 3 parts. So now I have 12ths. Now I just have to indicate that I have 9 of those 12ths. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. So I have now shaded in 9/12 in my area model. It says to go ahead and divide by 3, not only in the numerator, but also the denominator. So I'm going to go ahead and find groups of 3. There's a group of 3 there, that's 1 group, 2 group, and 3 groups of shaded 3s. And that's why there's 3 there. And then there's 4 total groups. so that 9/12 does equal 3/4. Check over your work. Here we're asked to simplify this fraction, 6/12, and it says by finding different common factors. So we'll find the factors for 6, and then we'll find the factors for 12, and then we'll see which factors they have in common. This way I can show you how it is that you would use those common factors to help you simplify. First, let's list the factors of 6. We have 1, 2, 3, and 6. Next, let's list the factors for 12. Those factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, and then what? 3 goes with 4, 2 goes with 6, and then we also have 12. You will notice that we have some of those in common, like these 1s, or the 2s, and the 3s. What we'll do is we'll circle those factors that are common to both 6 and 12. So we have 1, 2, 3, and then we also have 6. To simplify, we'll take that greatest common factor, in this case it's 6, and we'll divide the numerator and denominator by that. Let's see what happens. 6 divided by 6, and also 12 divided by 6. 6 divided by 6 is 1, and 12 divided by 6 is 2. So that 6/12 does equal 1/2. Now, if I tried to simplify 6/12, and I was saying, okay, well 3, let's try 3, this is what would happen. I would have gotten 6 divided by 3, and 12 also divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 12 divided by 3 is 4. So while 6/12 does equal 2/4, 2/4 is not in simplest form. I would have to do some more work where it is that to fully simplify that fraction. That's the same type of thing if I had noticed that both of those were even numbers, and to start that work, I would have gotten to 6/12 equals 3/6, and then I would have had to taken another step at that point to be able to get it down to simplest form of 1/2. So again, you find those factors first, and then you see which of those factors that they have in common. Okay, it's your turn to try. Go ahead and simplify 12/16 using factors. Pause the video while you do your work. As before, the factors of 12 are 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, and 12. The factors for 16, we'll start with what? 1. It's an even number, so 2 works. We also have 4. 2 ends up going with 8, and then we also have 16. Did you circle the greatest common factors? Well, 16's here, but there's no 16 here. There's an 8 here, there's no 8 here. There's a 6 here, but no 6 here. The greatest common factor is 4. The other common factors are 2, and then we'd also have 1. Well, notice something with 1 is if we had divided 12 by 1 and 16 by 1, our fraction would not change. So we'll go ahead and work with the greatest common factor again, which is 4. And then so we have 12/16 does equal 12 divided by 4, and 16, what will we divide by? Right, we have to divide by the same thing, so we'll divide by 4. 12 divided by 4 is 3, and 16 divided by 4 is 4. So you simplified 12/16 to 3/4. 12/16 simplifies to 3/4. Look over your work. Let's take a look at one more problem. It says to simplify 12/18. Well, I recognize that 12/18 already are both even numbers, So I could start by just dividing by 2 in the numerator and denominator. 12 divided by 2 is 6, and 18 divided by 2 is 9. Now I have 6 and 9. Hey, when I count by 3's, I get 3, 6, 9, and 12. In other words, both of these are divisible by 3. So I'll take one more step and go 6 divided by 3 and 9 divided by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2, and 9 divided by 3 is 3. If I had listed the factors, I would have found that the greatest common factor is 6. The greatest common factor, or the largest common factor, of 12 and 18 would be 6. And then, if I had noticed that, then I could have only had one step there, where I went 12 divided by 6, and then also 18 divided by 6 to simplify this fraction. 12 divided by 6 is 2, and 18 divided by 6 is 3. So that 12/18 does simplify to 2/3. So we'll keep on working on putting fractions into simplest form. Whatever you divide by within the numerator, you must divide by in the denominator. And we also had this thing called the greatest common factor to work with as well as we were simplifying fractions. Of course, as we had started, we could draw out that area model to do our work as well. When we had 18ths, start with some vertical lines this time, put it into 6 parts, and if we have 6 parts already, then there would be 6 times 3 is 18. That's why I'd have to do it like that there. And then let's see, we have 3, 6, 9, and 12. And then in this case, I'm grouping by 6. I'm grouping by 6, and that's why I circle this. 1 and 2 are shaded, just as seen right here. And then there are 3 total groups of 6. There are 3 total groups of 6, and that's why 12/18 does equal 2/3. So we can use that area model, and then we can also use division with that largest or greatest common factor to help us simplify these fractions.